On February 9th, 1951, a small group of Pacific Northwest locals gathered at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry for what was to be the first of many meetings. 41 members officially joined the organization we know today as the Oregon Archaeological Society. Professional archaeologists found many knowledgeable volunteers among avocational members of the society who were eager to impart their local knowledge in exchange for keeping some of the artifacts discovered. However, the OAS decided to formally cut off ties with antiquarian collectors by adopting a code of ethics. The society made a conscious decision to engage in a more rigorous program of educational outreach.
My name is Bob Cromwell, and I am an archaeologist at Fort Vancouver National Historic Site. And of course, the OAS has a history at Fort Vancouver dating back into the 1970s.
In 1974, the Society voted to participate in Fort Vancouver's Volunteers in Parks program.
The Volunteer in Parks program, it really allows people to volunteer in almost every avenue that the Park Service has, in our various parks. So here at Fort Vancouver specifically, we have volunteer docents in our interpretation program. We have volunteers who do living history, everything from blacksmithing and carpentry to cooking in our historic kitchen, and even black powder programs, actually demonstrating black powder weapons to the public. And then, of course, doing the archaeology as well. So the volunteer in park system, and the acronym is VIP, and we see it as very true. All of our volunteers are VIPs. They really help us bring our sites to life.
Over the years, the Society achieved a number of milestones. Volunteer opportunities at Fort Vancouver.
Fort Vancouver was the largest fur trading post of the Hudson's Bay Company. October 11th to October 19th, artifacts from the Northwest, including Fort Vancouver, would be on exhibit at OMSI.
Continued to bear fruit. Every project was supervised by a professional archaeologist, and all artifacts collected were thoroughly documented by the dedicated team of volunteers.
And specifically at Fort Vancouver, we have over 400 volunteers that are signed up and active. And in a pre-COVID setting, we were averaging over 20,000 volunteer hours a year. We treasure having the organization really just across the river. And actually, many OAS members even live in Clark County and Vancouver. So it's very convenient for everybody involved. It's wonderful having that resource base of knowledge base of people who are willing to volunteer and to work with us.
Another milestone was achieved in 1977 when members Carol Steele and Irene Warner formed a small group to successfully lobby for grave protection laws, some of the first in the nation. Within a decade, the OAS even began offering members basic archaeological training courses so they could better assist professionals overseeing volunteer excavation projects.
My name is David Root. So I've been involved in the training classes for 8 years.
Through these classes, the OAS continues to learn, share ideas, and participate in the historic and prehistoric archaeology of the culturally rich Pacific Northwest.
We highly encourage people to go through our training class. We have 2 components: Archaeology for the Curious, which is just a general introduction to archaeological work that has been done here in the Oregon area, and a background, a little bit of ethnography, etc. And then the second component is what we call our basic training class, which is designed to teach you how to actually do a pedestrian survey, the skills that might be required to work on excavation, always listening to what the archaeologist tells you and following those instructions. This year we had to go, because of COVID protocols, to an online class.
Basic training gives members a chance to connect with professional archaeologists, which can often lead directly to volunteer opportunities in the field.
Scott Thomas in the Burns BLM unit used to do something called Clovis Quest, where there were pedestrian surveys, and I used to love driving through what they called roads, but you couldn't see as a road at all, identifying that. Driving through the sagebrush, seeing all kinds of wild creatures, beautiful scenery, plants, and looking and finding sites that might be 10,000 years or older. It's just an amazing feeling.
The OAS continues to fund archaeological research yearly through scholarships and grants.
Hi, I'm Jim Kaiser. I'm retired. I was the Forest Service Regional Archaeologist for Washington and Oregon, the U.S. Forest Service. The Loring Grants are one of the most incredible things the OAS does.
The Loring Grant is awarded to members or professionals engaged in research.
These can be graduate student researchers, or they can be old geezers like me, or anybody can apply for a Loring Grant. The Lorings, Malcolm and Louise Loring, were a pair of OAS researchers who got interested in rock art back in the late 1950s, early 1960s. They set up this idea that they would give small research grants. It's a program that does research funding for a broad variety of folks.
At the same time, the Jones Scholarship allows college and university students that much-needed boost in project funds. Since the year 2000, the Oregon Archaeological Society has donated over $50,000 in scholarships and grants, not including nearly $8,000 donated toward elementary schools for archaeology field trips.
My name is Joyce Iliff, and I'm a retired teacher. I've taught in 5 different states from Alaska to New York. And right now with the Oregon Archaeological Society, I am helping the board and the society with their school field trip fund with 2 other members of the Oregon Archaeological Society. OAS has a website, which is OregonArchaeological.org, and please link to scholarship and grants, and then link on to OAS School Field Trip. Our mission there is to expose elementary, middle, and high school students to archaeologically important locations, resources, knowledge, and experiences in the Pacific Northwest. And it can be used for buses, it could be used for admission, it could also be used for a speaker, perhaps. So it's open pretty widely. And if you have a question, or if you want to do a field trip, but you don't know where or what, or how to include it in your curriculum, we are more than happy to help you.
Education also continues in many other forms, through a library, a newsletter, OAS publications, and frequent field trips to important sites of the Northwest.
She Who Watches, Tagaglalao, is probably the most famous petroglyph pictograph piece of rock art. It's a petroglyph, actually, in the Pacific Northwest. Rock art is an expression of cosmology, an expression of religion, expression of status orientation, an expression of shamanism, all those sorts of things. I've done, 20, 30 tours to the rock art at Horse Thief.
Oh, and let's not forget about the monthly meetings.
OAS holds its monthly meetings September through May on the first Tuesday of the month.
Still held at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry after all these years, the OAS hosts a diverse range of engaging archaeological topics, from prehistoric Oregonian sites to Omani rock art to Egyptian mapping projects.
Due to COVID, we had to go online. The wonderful thing about this, though, is that all members receive an invitation to join the Zoom presentation live and can ask questions at that time if they'd like. It's given us the opportunity to, as we do our Zoom meetings, we can record them and offer them on the Oregon Archaeological Society YouTube channel. So you can go back at any time and look at those meetings. And coming this fall, we hope to continue to be able to offer in-person and online presentations, so that whether you're in the Portland area or not, you can still follow our presentations anytime you like.
The Oregon Archaeological Society invites everyone to celebrate 70 years of service and education.
To become an OAS member, you can go online, just Google Oregon Archaeological Society.
Again, we just really love this association with the OAS and look forward to continuing it for hopefully many decades to come.